The cry across the void. The moon above the colony was broken. A bright scar cut across its face. Ash fell like slow rain. Sirens screamed and then died. Buildings burned in long lines, like someone drew fire on the ground with a knife. Kaylin ran. She was small, with thin gray hands and careful eyes. She worked as a station tech. She fixed doors, lights, and old machines no one respected. Tonight she held a cracked transmitter to her chest, like a child holds a blanket. The transmitter was her last hope. The syndicate of Therix had come at dusk. Their ships drifted in with the dust and blocked the sky. Their soldiers wore dark plates and silent masks. They took the factories first, then they took the water plant. Now they were taking people. Kaylin had seen them push families into cargo pens. She had seen the doors lock. She could still hear the echo of fists on metal. She slid into a maintenance tunnel under the main square. The tunnel smelled like hot metal and old oil. It was narrow. It was safe for now. The transmitter flickered. A thin light fought to stay alive on the cracked screen. Kaylin breathed in and out. She set the transmitter on a crate and opened its back. 3 wires had snapped. She found a strip of copper and wound it around the posts with shaking fingers. She whispered to herself, "Work. Please work." Outside, something heavy boomed. Dust fell from the tunnel ceiling. The screen blazed white and then settled into a steady glow. She swallowed. She set the bandwidth to wide. She set the power to full. She keyed in an old address she had seen once in a forbidden handbook. It was a deep relay, out beyond the trade lanes. A place only a few species used. A place Kaylin's people called a myth. She pressed the send key. Her voice shook, but the words were simple. To anyone, to Earth if you can hear. We are under attack on Relis colony. The syndicate has taken the city. They are using civilians as shields, please. We need help. Please. The message went out. It crossed the sky like a thin wire of light. It slipped between jammers when the wind pushed the ash. It bounced from a broken satellite that still remembered how to listen. It reached the deep relay. Kaylin kept speaking. She named streets. She named the factory blocks. She gave the count of taken people as best she could. They have children, she said. They will not survive the night. Please, anyone. She let the transmitter loop her message. She crawled farther into the tunnel. Her throat hurt. Her hands would not stop shaking. She had done all she could. She tried not to cry. Far away on a world of blue oceans and hard storms, the message hit a place called the Deep Net. The Deep Net was a sea of signals. Most messages were junk. Some were traps. Some were lies. One was a broken voice from Relos, colony. It said, "To Earth if you can hear." A watcher program woke up. It tagged the voice. It matched the word syndicate. It matched the word civilians. It matched help. The alert reached Earth Command in less than a breath. Captain. Mara Voss stood in a quiet room with a long window. The window looked over a training yard. She watched her people run under heavy gravity. She watched them move like the ground loved them and tried to hold them down. Her wrist link chimed. She opened the alert. She heard the same voice Kaylin had sent into the ash. She heard they have children. She heard please. Mara's jaw set. She had fought the syndicate before. She knew their masks. She knew their math. They did not leave witnesses if they thought no one was watching. She sent the alert up the chain and did not wait. Task Force Iron Dawn is on standby, she said, into the link. Prepare for deep insertion, no assumptions, high civilian risk. Her second in command, Vale, answered at once. We move on your word. Not yet, Mara said. We follow law. We ask the council. They asked. The council sent a careful reply. It said the sector was sensitive. It said to hold position. It said to confirm more signals. Mara stared at the words. She listened again to the voice from the ash. She thought about the training yard below. Humans were born on a hard world. They learned to stand in storms. They did not like to wait while people died. She did not raise her voice. Prep anyway, she told Vale. Full med loadout, heat seals, reactive plates, silent comms. If we get the green, we jump. Understood, Vale said. Mara opened a channel to the DeepNet desk. Can we triangulate the caller? A tired analyst rubbed his eyes and drank cold tea. We have a partial fix. Jammers are thick. But the signal was clean enough to hit a relay. We can get you to the outer atmosphere. Past that, he spread his hands. You'll be in the dark. Dark is fine, Mara said. We live there. Back on Relos, Kalen crawled to a grate and peered out. The square was a mess of fire and smoke. 2 syndicate soldiers dragged a man by his wrists. A child ran after them, silent, mouth open. No sound came out. Kalen pressed her hand to the grate until her palm hurt. She closed her eyes. She could not save them. She could only keep the message going. Footsteps clanged in the tunnel behind her. Kalen froze. She did not breathe. The footsteps stopped. A small red light scanned the shadows, a drone. It hummed like a sick insect. The drone turned, found nothing, and moved on. Kalen let herself breathe again. She felt lightheaded. She slid back to the transmitter and checked the loop. The screen flickered. The battery icon was a thin line. She had pushed the power to full. It was the only way to cut through the jam field. Now the battery was dying fast. She found a spare cell in her pocket. It was old. It might hold 10 minutes. It might hold 2. She swapped it in and wiped her hands on her shirt. Hold together, she whispered. She spoke to the transmitter like it could hear her. Hold for a little more. On Earth, Mara watched the training yard go still. The recruits looked up at the sky like they could see the stars through daylight. News traveled fast between soldiers. When one person needed help, the air itself seemed to lean forward. Mara opened a squad channel. Listen up, she said, and her voice was calm and strong. A colony called Relos has asked for rescue. We are not cleared to move yet, but we are ready. Armor on, kits checked. When the door opens, we go through it. A dozen voices answered as one. We go. Mara closed her eyes for a moment. She pictured a small tech in a tunnel, hands shaking, trying to keep a weak signal alive. She wished she could tell that person one simple thing. You are not alone. Kalen sat with her back to the tunnel wall. She hugged the transmitter to keep it steady. She listened to her own voice play on the loop. Please, we need help, please. She thought about stories she had heard when she was young, stories about Earth. Some called humans monsters, some called them saviors. Most agreed on one thing. If Earth heard you, Earth came. The screen flickered again. The light dimmed. The battery icon fell to a point. Kalen leaned forward. Hold, she whispered. The transmitter made a small sad sound. The loop cut off mid-word. Silence filled the tunnel. Warborn assemble. The room filled with the sound of plates locking into place. Armor latched. Seals hissed. Boots thudded on the deck. Captain Mara Voss walked the line like a quiet storm. She checked every face and every strap. She did not waste words. Task Force Iron Dawn, she said. We prepare to move. The Council had said wait. Earth Command had said stand by. Mara did both, and neither. She waited with her hands working. She stood by with engines warming. Vale, her second, held a slate. Loadouts confirmed. 2 squads, 1 dropship, 1 Overwatch shuttle, full med kits, heat seals for ash zones, reactive gel for beam hits. Good, Mara said. Dakamani moved between crates like a careful dancer. She checked auto-suture foam, clean saline, shock blankets, and limb cages. She spoke to her supplies in a low voice. You will save lives. All of you. Reyes, the pilot, sat in the cockpit of the dropship with one leg tucked under her. She ran the launch checklist without looking at it. Her fingers knew the order. She tapped the canopy with a knuckle for luck. Mag field is hot. Thrusters are clean. Stealth baffles will hold for the first drop if the wind stays friendly. Stone stood apart. A wall turned human. He rolled his shoulders to settle the heavy frame across his back. The frame could carry a cannon, a door, or a child. He would carry any of those if asked. Mara opened a wide channel. Every soldier in the bay went still. Listen. A colony asked for help. We heard. The beacon died. That means time is short. We move when we can move. Not before, not after. She glanced at Vale. Status on legal clearance? Vale's mouth twitched. Council refuses intervention. They say the Syndicate registered a security operation in that sector. But the rescue charter covers civilians in active danger. If we confirm hostages, we can act under Article 9. We already have a voice that said children, Mara said. Council says a single voice is not proof, Vale said. Mara held his eyes. Then we will bring them proof on a stretcher and ask if that counts. He almost smiled. Understood. On the far wall, a training feed played for those who needed to breathe through nerves. It showed a team running drills in high gravity. Their feet hit hard and true. The caption read, "Born on a storm world, other species called humans, death-worlders." They meant it as a warning and a prayer. Earth was full of sharp edges and sudden weather. Its gravity was greedy. Its seas could throw mountains at you. Humans grew up arguing with a planet. They learned to plan, to get back up, to hold on. People from softer worlds feared that kind of practice. Mara remembered her first march in 8G. Boots. She had fallen. She had stood up. She had kept going. Today she would do the same, only faster. The DeepNet desk pinged in. The tired analyst sounded more awake now. Captain, we scrubbed the static. We built a ghost map from the last clean packets. You were right. The call came from Relos. Sector grid B black. We also found scatter from Syndicate traffic near the factories. Hostages? Mara asked. Can't confirm, the analyst said. But we caught a 3-second bleed from their helmet cams. The angle shows people packed behind weld mesh. Small bodies. I can send the clip. The clip appeared on the main screen. It was brief and ugly. It was enough. Imani's jaw went tight. Stone made a sound like a door closing. Reyes whispered, "Okay then." Vale did not look away. He tapped his slate. Article 9 satisfied. The charter allows action. We can move. Mara nodded once. Log the clip. Send it with our launch notice to the Council and to Command. If they want to stop us, they can try to get here before we're gone. She turned to the team. Helmets on. Visors lowered. HUDs flickered alive. Heart rates settled one by one as training did its work. The deck lights shifted from white to amber. The bay doors rolled back to show a slice of gray sky. Reyes called from the cockpit. Captain, side note, there's a storm front over Relas. Ash density reads heavy. We can ride it in, but we'll be blind until the last kilometer. Blind is fine, Mara said. We make our own eyes. Vale handed out micro-drones the size of coins. Toss these on drop. They will sniff heat, sound, and metal. Even in ash. We stitch the world from crumbs. Mara set her palm on the dropship's hull. The metal thrummed like a living thing. She spoke to the team in a low voice that carried. Remember who we are. We do not go to crush. We go to carry. People are the mission. Imani lifted a hand. And if the Syndicate tries to use civilians as shields again? Mara's answer was simple. Then we will move between the shields and the guns. No one argued. The launch notice came back stamped and cold. Received, not approved. No order to stand down, no order to move. A gray zone? Mara smiled without humor. We move. They climbed into the dropship. The harness bars swung down and locked. Reyes fed power to the lift. The ship rose on a whisper and slid forward toward the open air. Wait, Vale said, and his voice came sharp. One more feed, long-range sweep from Ganymede net just hit my board. Say it, Mara said. Vale threw the image to their HUDs. A ring of dull lights circled the colony from far above. It looked like faint stars, except they did not move. He zoomed in. The dots were disguised satellites and cold mines. Their heat signatures were masked to look like normal space junk. But the pattern was too clean, even spacing, overlap and kill arcs. Reyes whistled once under her breath. That is not random. No, Vale said. It's a kill ring. Imani frowned. Explain it simple. Vale did. You make a circle of hidden weapons around a target. You leave a door in the circle that looks like a safe corridor. When a rescue ship takes the corridor, you close the door and fire from all sides. Anyone trying to leave the planet gets cut apart. Anyone trying to land gets cut apart. It's a machine for catching the people who come to help. Stone's hands rested on his knee plates. He did not move. His voice was calm and deep. So they knew someone would answer. They hoped, Vale said. They planned for us. Deck hummed as Reyes eased the ship back off the launch lip. She did not want to, but she did it. We can still go, she said. I can thread that gap with my eyes shut. You will keep your eyes open, Mara said. She stood in the aisle, steady as a pillar. The kill ring rotated slowly on their HUDs, patient and cruel. It waited in silent orbit above a colony full of smoke. Mara let the team look for 3 breaths. Then she spoke. We were warned there would be a trap, she said. Here it is, good, traps are simple. You break a tooth, the whole jaw feels it. She turned to Vale. Options. 3, Vale said at once. 1, punch the ring on entry and trust our armor. High risk to civilians if debris falls. 2, send drones to wake the ring and map firing logic, then ride the timing gaps. Slower. 3, fake a larger mass. Make the ring shoot early at a ghost, and slip in under the confusion. Reyes grinned, quick and sharp. I like 3. Imani nodded. I like anything that gets us to the children. Mara looked at the ring again. She looked through it, to the streets below, to a tunnel where a small tech had held a dying transmitter and begged strangers to come. Pick 3, she said. Build me a ghost big enough to scare them. Vale's hands moved. Drones spun up in their trays with a soft chitter. Reyes fed power back to the engines. Stone checked the clamps on the cargo cradle meant for evac pods. Imani snapped a final lock on her medkit and touched the charm on its strap. The bay light shifted to red. The launch siren stayed silent by order. Only the wind outside spoke. Vale's drones streaked out ahead like seeds in a current. On their HUDs, the cold stars of the kill ring woke one by one. Every gun in the sky turned toward the fake target. The trap was awake. The teeth were closing, dropped to an ashen world hook. The sky above Relos was not a sky anymore. It was a gray sea. The dropship dove into it like a fish into cold water. Reyes held the stick light and steady. Ghost is working, she said. Kill ring is chewing on the decoy. On the HUD, cold stars woke and spat fire at nothing. Vale's fake mass rippled like a giant ship made of smoke. Guns in orbit fired again and again. They burned holes in emptiness. The real dropship slid along a narrow timing gap, small and silent. Last clear ping in 3, 2, 1, Vale said. After this, blind. Blind is fine, Mara answered. We make our own eyes. Coin drones shot out of a belly tube. They fluttered into the ash like seeds. Each one sniffed, heat and metal and the rhythm of distant engines. They whispered numbers to Vale. He stitched a rough map, a hard valley, hot air, broken roofs, a lane that might be clear. Pick LZ Raven, Mara said. Short of the factories. We do not land on top of civilians. Copy. Reyes dropped her shoulders and the ship fell faster. The ash storm thickened. It scraped the hull with a sound like sand in a bottle. Static crawled over everyone's arms and necks. Reactive gel in their plates felt the charge and flowed to meet it. Armor smarted shut. Thermals spiking below, Vale said. Furnace. Vents. The syndicate turned the valley into a heat sink. You will feel it. Imani ran a hand down her med kit. I'll keep them from cooking. Stone reached up and tightened the cargo cradle straps. The cradle held folded rescue sleds and evac blankets. It looked small against his back. He looked like he could carry the ship if he had to. The dropship punched through the last cloud layer. Relos rushed up to meet them. The world was all gray and orange. Buildings sagged like candles. Black rivers of slag cut the ground. A broken crane leaned over a square full of ash cones. "Winds cross," Reyes said. "Hold on." The ship bucked. Everyone rocked in their harness. A hiss, a pop, a hard slam of landing struts. Dust fountained around them and fell back like heavy rain. "We're down," Reyes said. LZ'd Raven. Ash depth knee-high outside. Visibility, 2 houses. "Ramp," Mara said. The ramp dropped, and heat rolled in like a living thing. It smelled like burned copper and old fire. Ash stuck to boots and plates. The world crackled underfoot. "Drones up," Vale said. "I have faint footsteps north. Pattern says patrol. 3, maybe 5. Another set west. Heavy. Likely shield. Carriers." "Stone with me," Mara said. "Imani. Triage cell on the lee side of that wall. Reyes. Keep the bird hot, but give me eyes from above with your second shuttle." "Overwatch lifting," Reyes answered. The stealth shuttle slipped out of a side bay and vanished into the gray. They moved fast and low. Their shapes were dark and simple against the brighter ash. No wasted motion. Every breath counted. The first survivors came from a culvert under a broken street. They were quiet, faces white with dust. A woman tried to speak and only coughed. Imani knelt and sprayed cooling foam across a boy's burned arm. The foam hissed, then turned dull and safe. "Feels like river," the boy whispered. He stared at Imani like she was a story. "Breathe slow," Imani said. "You're okay." Stone shoved his shoulder against a fallen beam and lifted. A small girl crawled out from under it like a cat, eyes too big for her face. She did not cry. She did not speak. She raised her arms without a word. Stone picked her up and settled her against his chest plate. She put her cheek on steel and went limp like sleep. "Rally point set," Vale said. 3 walls, 1 roof, good cover from the south. Marked as home. Mara walked the edge of the square and looked at the buildings. She listened. She could feel the city thinking around her. A rhythm. A pull. She had done this before on other worlds where help came late. She knew the shape of fear. "Patrol at 9, Vale warned. "We are sand in their teeth if we move wrong." "Keep guns low," Mara said. "No big flashes, civilians close." The patrol appeared as gray ghosts first, then as men in dark plates with long rifles. They moved like they owned the dust. They stopped when they saw shapes in the ash that looked wrong. They raised their rifles. Mara raised her hand and dropped. It did not look like much. A soft whisper of darts from Vale's side rail. A small flash of Stone's stub thrower aimed at knees and elbows. No thunder, just hard coughs of air. 3 syndicate soldiers fell like bags. 2 limped away clutching joints. They fired blind. Shots chipped a wall. No civilians screamed. There were no big explosions. In the heat and the noise, quiet skill mattered more. "Clear," Mara said. "North lane open for 30 seconds, Vale added. "Use it now or lose it." "Move," Mara said. They slid through the gap and into a furnace alley. Broken vents blew hot breath into their faces. The heat cracked the ash on their plates and made a lace of white lines. Imani counted heads without thinking. 7 with us. 4 more coming. Keep low. Keep low. Reyes's voice came thin through static. "Piggyback to city billboard, I can push fake arrows to split their search lines, want it?" "Do it," Mara said. Across the district, dead signs woke and blinked bright green arrows. Evac, med, safe. They pointed the wrong way toward empty streets and circles. Syndicate squads turned, followed the glow and cursed when the alleys dead-ended. Every minute mattered. A fake arrow was worth 100 bullets. "Picking up a live feed," Vale said suddenly. His voice flattened. "Source. Factory block. Prime. Open channel meant to scare the city. A picture cut across their HUDs. A room with metal walls and bright lights. A line of people on their knees. A heavy door behind them. In front, a small gray tech with a shock collar tight around her throat. Kylan. Her eyes were red. Her hands were tied. The little transmitter lay broken on the floor by her knees. A masked commander stepped into frame. His voice came through clean, like ice. "To the human force in my city," he said. "Show yourselves. You have 60 seconds. If you do not, I will execute one hostage per minuta. We will start with the sender of the illegal signal." A red number appeared in the corner of the feed. 60. Imani's breath hitched. "Don't!" Stone's hands tightened. The child on his chest slept on, small and warm. Mara did not move for 2 seconds. She studied the walls in the feed. She counted bolts on a door. She looked at light shadows to find the vent path. She listened to background hum and guessed power draw. She built a path in her head. "Vale," she said. "Give me factory block prime. North 2 streets, east 1. Interior corridors. Set in a grid, but heat shows a big machine room here." He pinged a square. "That's your echo. The feed matches." "Routes?" 3, Vale said. "All bad. 1 under through maintenance shafts. 1 over across roof girders and open ash. 1 straight line through a market stall maze." "Under," Mara said. "Less eyes." "Ash will choke the vents," Imani warned. "Then we breathe harder," Mara said. "We do not let him count to 0. Reyes cut in. "Overwatch can drop a flare on the far side to pull squads. It'll cost me stealth, but you'll get 20 seconds. "Do it," Mara said. Kylan lifted her head in the feed. She looked straight into the camera. She did not speak. Her mouth was dry, but her eyes were steady. She had sent a call into the dark. Now she waited to see if the dark would answer. The number flipped. 45. Mara turned to the civilians. "Home stays here," she told them. "No one moves, no matter what you hear. We will come back for you." She looked at the girl on Stone's chest. "She stays under the wall with Imani." The child did not stir. Imani nodded. "Go." "Stone," Mara said. "With me, always," he said. They dropped into a maintenance hatch veil marked with a green dot. Hot air licked their faces. The tunnel was tight and full of grit. They moved like they had all the space in the world. Above, the fake arrows blinked and dragged enemy squads in circles. Rhea's shuttle popped a flare behind a warehouse. It burst white. Soldiers ran toward it, swearing. The number flipped. 20. Vale whispered in their ears. 2 corners, then a ladder, then a grate. The grate opens to the back of the bright room. The camera faces front left, the commander stands center. You will have 5 meters to cross with no cover. 5 is plenty, Mara said. They reached the ladder. Stone went first because he was faster. He pushed the grate with one hand and caught it with the other so it would not clang. Ash fell in a soft sheet. Heat poured through like a breath from an oven. Mara looked up. She could see light. She could hear a voice counting now, slow and pleased. Go. Break cover, Mara said softly. They went. The bait and the blade. The voice in the room counted like a slow knife. 9. 8. 7. Stone eased the grate up with one hand. Heat washed his face. Light painted hard lines across metal walls. Mara crouched beside him, eyes already moving, counting bolts, judging distance, looking for cover where there was none. 6. 5 meters, Vale whispered in their ears. No cover. Camera front left. Commander center. 2 guards right. 1 left. Collars wired to a floor box, kill switch on the commander's wrist. We take the wrist, Mara said. Stone right. I go left. 5. Rhea's voice cut in, quick and sharp. Reactor leak alarm in wing delta in 3, 2 now. Somewhere deep in the factory, sirens wailed a new song. Red lights burst to life down the far corridor. Doors hissed open. Shadow shapes in syndicate armor turned their heads, confused. Feet pounded toward the fake emergency. 4. Now, Mara said, and moved. She exploded out of the grate like a switchblade opening. Stone came behind, a wall that learned to sprint. The masked commander's head twitched at the flicker of motion. His finger twitched too. Mara's first shot was not a shot, it was a dart. It flew like a wasp and bit his wrist. The kill switch spat a brief spark and died. Stone's stub thrower coughed twice. The two guards on the right folded at the joints, rifles clattering away. The one on the left raised a beam pistol. Stone took the shot on his chest plate and kept coming, fast and simple. He hit the guard once with the edge of his hand. The mask cracked. The guard slept. The camera blinked static and then a still frame. Vale had frozen the feed at the first moment of surprise. To anyone watching, the room looked paused on the commander's smug face, just before the kill. "Room contained," Vale said. "Expect response in 30. Mara crossed the last meter. The commander clawed for a backup trigger. She twisted his arm and pushed him to the floor without drama. She did not shout. She did not use big words. "No more." Kaylin flinched at the movement and then went very still. She looked at Mara like a person looks at a map that might be true. Imani came through the grate like a thread pulled through, cloth, fast and quiet. She had left a medbot and a volunteer at home. She had run here with a coil of wire around her wrist and a small toolkit between her teeth. She dropped to her knees beside Kaylin. "I am here," she said, simple and soft. "Hold your breath for 2 counts. When I say now, breathe out slow." Kaylin nodded. Her eyes were steady. The collar hummed against her skin. Imani set the coil across the collar's leads and clipped it to her own battery pack. "We starve it," she said. "We give it a path that is not your neck." "Will it hurt?" Kaylin asked. "Yes," Imani said, honest. "But only for a blink." She looked at Mara. "Now?" Mara looked at Vale's timer. 20 seconds until company. "Now." Imani flipped a tiny switch. The coil chirped. The collar spat a white spark. Kaylin's teeth clicked. Then the humming was gone. The lock light died. Imani cut the band with a slim blade and eased it away like a poisonous insect. Kaylin inhaled and then cried without sound. It was the cry of air coming back into a place it had left. Stone spun and pulled a heavy table into the doorway. It was not cover. It was a promise that if someone tried to enter, they would have to work. Reyes piped in again. "I pulled 3 squads away with the leak, but 2 are stubborn. You have a minute before they remember the hostages matter, more than pipes. Make them forget longer," Mara said. Reyes laughed once, on it. In the next breath, the factory's internal speakers belched a monotone. "Warning. Reactor pressure exceeds threshold. System vent in progress. All personnel evacuate Wing Delta immediately." A second alarm wailed. Doors unlocked. The building felt untrue. Men ran the wrong way. Vale was already moving in his head. Anchors going live. The coin drones he had tossed earlier were not only eyes, some were teeth. They stuck to door frames and floor rails like seeds. Now they woke and pulled. Corridors re-angled. Doors that should have opened slid shut. Others meant to trap, unlocked and stayed open. Syndicate squads split and lost sight of each other. Their shouts sounded small. "Who sent the call?" Mara asked, eyes still on the door. Kaylin lifted her hand. It shook. "Me." "Good," Mara said. "You did right." Kaylin's eyes shone through ash. "Can you get them out, the others?" "We can," Mara said. And because truth mattered, she added, "If we break the machine that holds them." Kaylin pointed with her chin. "Master control is 3 floors down and 2 east. The collars, the doors, the ring above the city, all run through there. I kept the maps in my head. No one reads a tech's mind." Mara's mouth twitched. "That's our road, then." The commander on the floor tried to move. Stone put a boot gently on his shoulder and did not add weight. The message was clear. The commander looked up at Mara through his cracked mask. "You will die here," he said. His voice was calm. He believed the building belonged to him. "Maybe," Mara said. "But not alone." Imani handed Kaylin a shock blanket and a small mask. "Stay close to me," she said. "Breathe through this. Sip water, not gulps." Kaylin nodded and gripped the blanket like it was a rope tied to a ship. Vale's voice sharpened. Contact in 10. Corridor west. Mara gestured. Stone slid the table a foot, creating a slit of space. Mara stood in that slit, low and square. The first syndicate soldier pushed the door. He expected a line of panicked prisoners. He met Mara. Instead, her dart hit his throat plate and exploded into cold foam that locked his neck. He felt like a tree that forgot how to be wood. Stone moved once, twice, like a clock with 2 hands. 2 more went down, joints numb. No loud shots, no drama. Quiet, efficient pressure. Go, Vale urged. Downstairs now. I will keep the map alive. They moved. The maintenance stairs were hot and narrow. The metal handrail burned through gloves if you held it too long. Imani counted their steps and watched Kalen's breath. Stone took the rear because nothing got past him. Mara led, gun low, eyes high. Left, Vale whispered. Now right. Skip that hall. It loops to a kill slot. Trust me. They trusted him. A mounted turret sat at the next corner, sleeping like a snake. As Mara stepped out, it woke and spat a spray of bright lines. The first lines hit Stone's plate and splashed as his reactive gel flowed to meet them. He did not stop. He stepped into the stream, seized the turret housing with both hands, and tore it off its mount in a shower of sparks. He turned it sideways. It became a shield that whined and smoked in his grip. Imani looked at him with something like awe. You are going to need new gloves, she said. Stone's mouth made the shape of a smile. Yes. They pushed deeper. The factory's heart beat around them. Big machines groaned. Vents coughed heat. Behind a locked mesh, faces watched them go. Too many faces. Imani wanted to stop, but she kept moving because stopping everyone now meant losing everyone later. 2 more doors, Vale said. Then, Master Control. Reyes's voice went flat. Heads up. New signal from orbit. Big mass just slipped in high and quiet. Vale's fingers skated over nothing as he reached for data in the air. His breath caught. That is not a transport. That is a siege platform. What does that mean? Imani asked. Dark Halo, Vale said. The name felt wrong in his mouth. It parks over a city and charges a beam that cooks everything wide and slow. It is made to break people who hide. They hit the last door. Kalen's thin hands moved over the panel with memory and hate. They locked this with a voice I do not have, she said, but they forgot the maintenance tongue. She pried a cover and touched 2 wires together like old friends. The door sighed open. Master Control was a room of quiet light and patient screens. A single operator turned in his chair, shocked to see anyone but masks. He lifted his hands. He did not want to die. Mara waved him to the floor. Down. Do not touch anything. Kalen went straight to a screen and typed like the keys owed her. She shut down the local collars. Small green lights across a map went dark. Somewhere above, weld mesh cracked open as failsafes tripped. Doors that had always been closed learned to be doors again. Imani closed her eyes for half a second. She could see the people in the cages feel air on their faces. She could hear someone laugh for the first time that day. Ring control? Mara asked. Here, Kalen said, and pointed to a cluster of icons. But I cannot kill it from this node. I can only open a window. It will snap shut if the main brain wakes. Open it when I say, Mara said. Vale's voice slid in, hushed and tight. Captain, look outside. They did. Through a high vent slit, the sky was no longer gray. It had turned a wrong color, deep violet, pulsing at the edges like a bruise. A wide circle hung there, faint but growing. It felt like a second moon made of hunger. Vale spoke softly so the words would not break. Dark Halo is charging. It paints the target for 30 seconds. Then it pours heat until streets melt. How long? Mara asked. 2 minutes to full charge, Vale said. Maybe less. Imani put a hand on Kalen's shoulder. The tech did not look away from the screen. Tell me when to open the window, Kalen said. Her voice did not shake now. It was iron and wires. Reyes whispered, I can throw chaff. I can throw flares. I cannot stop that thing. Stone set the smoking turret shield against the wall and flexed his fingers. He looked up at the violet sky. He did not fear it. He simply measured it. Mara's voice was calm. We will not run. We will not hide. We will move the people and break the beam. How do you break a beam? Imani asked. With timing, Mara said. And with something bigger than it expects. She touched her wrist link and opened. A channel beyond the factory, beyond the city, to a place just out of sight. Her words were simple. Goliath, she said, if you can hear me, come to Periapsis. Outside, the sky deepened and the air began to hum like a string pulled too tight. The dark halo started to scream. Dreadnought at Periapsis. The sky changed shape. It bent as if a giant hand pressed it from the other side. Clouds boiled in a ring. Ash rolled off the roofs in waves. The air felt heavy, like a storm about to break. Then the dreadnought arrived. It did not blink into view. It pushed into view, forcing space to make room. Armor plates like cliffs, ridges of guns like black teeth. Its name ran in small letters along a scar on the bow. Goliath. Orbital friend is here, Reyes said, voice thin with joy. Captain Goliath is at Periapsis. She came close, very, very close. Mara's reply was calm. Goliath, this is Iron Dawn. Ground team in contact. Civilians present. Dark halo charging above the city. A new voice came on the net. Cool and steady. Iron Dawn, Goliath acknowledges. We see your target. We will pin it. Window, Mara asked. 18 seconds of hold, Goliath said. Not 19. Vale's hands already moved. 18 is enough. On my mark, Mara said. Kaylin, be ready to open the ring. Vale, set evac lanes. Imani, home stays hot. Stone, you're with me. Kaylin's eyes did not leave the screen. Say the word. They felt the first touch of the gravity nail like a deep sound in their bones. No one saw the nail. They saw its shape in the way the dark halo stuttered. The siege platform was a black coin in a violet bruise. It drifted with slow pride until a spear made of bent pole stabbed it. The platform jerked like a fly caught in sap. Its drift became a tremble. Its aim wobbled. Hold started, Goliath said. Clock running. Open the ring, Mara said. Kaylin's fingers flew. On her map, a hard circle of icons flashed, then softened. The kill ring above the city, those fake stars with real guns, opened a narrow door. Evac corridor is live, Kaylin said. It will not stay. Vale, Mara said. Corridors marked, Vale replied. His coin drones took the city's mouth and taught it to speak new words. Alley gates unlocked. Floor plates flipped to ramps. Old storm drains lit up with warm arrows. The map on everyone's visor showed a river of safe lines weaving around heat and guns. Move them, Mara ordered. Imani stood in the broken square and raised both arms. Her voice went over local speakers, clear and simple. This way, stay low, hands on the rope. If you fall, we lift you. If you cough, sip water. Children first. Stone took the front of the rope. It wrapped across his chest like a bandolier. A line of dust-gray people held the rope with small hands and big hands. Stone leaned into the pull and made the first step look easy, so every step after it felt possible. Reyes sent the Overwatch shuttle along the evac path, low and quiet, dropping med packs and glow sticks where the ash hid holes. I'm your ceiling, she said. Follow the lights. Above, Goliath worked. Rail lances hammered. You could not see the rods themselves, only the thin, straight lines they burned in air and dust. Each line found a hidden gun in the ring and turned it into a bright flower that died fast. Between shots, the dreadnought fired chaff and mirror foil into the dark halo's line of sight, forcing its aim to solve 10 problems at once. 4 nodes down, Goliath reported. 9 to go. The dark halo pushed back. Its ring of capacitors glowed like a hungry sunrise. It tried to roll its beam on target, but the gravity nail held it by the spine. The platform's escorts, lean, ugly cutters, rushed in, spitting, beam fire. Goliath took the hits and answered with ugly, simple physics. A load of dead rock flung at a speed that made math sweat. One cutter became a smear. Another looked whole but fell in 2 slow pieces. 10 seconds of hold, Goliath said. 9. Steady, Mara said. She and Stone ran the inside, path toward the next cage block while the evac river flowed behind them. Kalen kept master control singing. Every time a door tried to remember its old orders, she reminded it of new ones. Imani knelt beside a boy whose breath came too fast. She pressed a mask to his face and counted. In for 2, out for 4. Good. Vale's voice threaded through everything. Left turn in 10 meters. Do not step on the shiny plates. They're old security panes. Someone stumbled. Stone's hand reached back without looking and caught a shoulder. The line steadied. The child on Stone's chest, no longer sleeping, just quiet, looked up at the violet sky, and then hid her face in the warm place between armor plates. Kalen pulled a new window on the control wall. Records. She dragged logs, camera clips, and command orders into a single file. Her hands shook, but not from fear. From anger, held hard. I can broadcast, she said. Sector-wide. Not just local. Do it, Mara said, still moving. Kalen hit send all. Screens across the district flickered. In far cities and cold ships and quiet houses, people saw the inside of the cages, the collars, the line of knees, the way the commander's hand found the switch like it knew the path by heart. She did not add music or words. Truth was loud, enough. A new voice burst on the net. Angry, official, afraid. All units, cease broadcast. This is a secured operation. Shut down your stream or be... The voice cut as Vale stepped on its throat with a code wedge. No. 6 seconds, Goliath said. Home status, Mara asked. First wave inside the drains, Imani answered. Second wave moving. We can do this. Reyes took the shuttle higher for one breath. I can see the halo's focus cone. It's wide. If the hold slips, it will touch the city. 5, Goliath said. Make the city smaller, Mara told Vale. Vale understood. He rerouted live power through buried coils, pulling up old storm shutters and ancient fire doors, making turtle shells out of public halls and market squares. The city hunched. The map shrank. The evac river still flowed under the new shells. It felt like hiding in a hard rain. 4. A beam crawled across Goliath's bow and chewed steel. Armor peeled back like old paint. The dreadnought did not scream. Her voice stayed level. We are good. 3. Mara and Stone reached the last cage in Block 2. Stone set the shield turret down and gripped the mesh. Muscles bunched. Metal squealed. The door tore, people poured out. A woman caught Mara's wrist. Are you from Earth? Yes, Mara said. The woman cried and laughed at once. I sent my sister to the tunnels. Thank you. She did not wait for a speech. She took a small child's hand and ran for the rope. 2. Kalen watched the halo's charge bar creep. It made no sense that a thing so big watched a little white line. But that was how the universe worked. Small measures decided big days. Goliath, Mara said. If you have a clean shot, take it. Negative, Goliath replied. Enemy, mass between us and the halo. We will tear the city. We will hold instead. 1. Goliath pushed the gravity nail harder. For a moment the whole sky rang. The halo staggered. Its beam stuttered to the side and burned empty hills to glass. Hold complete, Goliath said. Release in. Something failed. They all felt it. A tooth snapped in the gear. The deep sound broke. The halo slid 1 meter in orbit, then 2. Then found its balance again. Grav nail number 2 overloaded, Goliath said. The steady voice had a crack in it now, thin but real. We have 17 seconds of bleed hold, no more. Vale swore softly. 17 isn't 18. 17 is enough to live, Mara said. Kalen, close the ring door in 5. Reyes, flare the far quarter to pull fire. Imani, push the second wave now. Stone, already moving, he said. And he was. The dark halo shivered like a waking beast. It turned, slow at first, then with cruel grace. Its wide mouth, made of coils and mirrors, tilted away from the city. It aimed at Goliath. Reyes's voice dropped to a whisper. It's choosing her. Kalen's hands hovered over the ring control. Say when. 3, Goliath said. 2. We are proud to. Not yet, Mara said, and heard her own heart answer like a drum. The halo's face brightened, ugly and perfect. It gathered all its heat into a single thought. Kalen looked at Mara. Mara did not blink. The dark halo finished turning. Its cannon stared into Goliath's bow like an eye that did not love anything. The beam began to form. The price of rescue. If someone must pay, Mara said, let it be us. The words were calm. The sky was not. The dark halo finished turning. Its wide mouth, made of coils and mirrors, faced Goliath like an eye that hated. The bleed hold ticked down. 17 seconds, 16, 15. Plan, Mara said. Vale answered at once. We cut it at the source. There's a control spine under the halo's coil. If we crack 3 couplers in that spine, the beam will fail. We can't do it from here. Then we go there, Mara said. Reyes spoke fast. Overwatch can slingshot a team from the roof of Factory 2. It's stupid, but it's possible. You jump. I catch you with the shuttle's belly field and throw you the last 50 meters. Do it, Mara said. Stone with me. Vale guides. Imani, you hold home and push the rest of the line. Kalen, close the ring door in 5 and keep the city open below us. Kalen's hands hovered over the board. On your word. They ran, stairs, heat, smoke, a roof hatch that stuck and then gave. The roof wind hit them like a wall. Ash whipped sideways. The dark halo hung above like a false moon, violet at the edges. Goliath held her place below it, guns hot, armor scored, voice steady. Bleed hold at 11, Goliath said. 10. Reyes's shuttle slid across the roof and dropped so low its skids kissed the tar. Its ramp opened. Reyes's voice was a line they could hold. In, harness on, don't argue. They clipped in. The shuttle rose and turned its belly to the sky. Vale drew a simple picture in their visors, 3 bright dots under the halo's mouth. Those are the couplers, he said. Hit them fast. Brake. Don't hack. You have 20 seconds before the ring notices and eats you. Plenty, Stone said. Imani's voice came from the square below. You could hear the work in her breath and the steel in her words. Second wave moving. I have burns, smoke, lungs, 2 crush injuries. We are not stopping. Keep that window open. Kalen swallowed and shut the ring door on her board. Guns above the city turned back to sleep for one breath, then woke to face only the fake ghost Vale had built. The evac river kept flowing through the lanes she held open by will and wire. 8, Goliath said. Now, Reyes said, and punched the shuttle's thrust. They leaped into the wind. Gravity hammered down. The belly field caught them and turned the fall into a long step. Release, Reyes said. They launched. For 1 second they were bodies in a storm. For the next their jump packs fired, small and mean. Heat bit their faces. The halo's hull rushed up black and slick. Their boots hit metal. Magnets grabbed. They did not bounce. Find the line, Vale whispered. Follow the heat seam, to the first coupler. Mara moved. Stone moved. They were fast because they did not waste motions on fear. The seam glowed faint under their feet. They ran along it like a narrow road on a cliff. A defense turret woke with a sound like a cough. It spat a beam. Stone stepped in front of Mara without thinking. The shot hit his chest and spread across his plates as the reactive gel boiled. His whole shape went bright for 1 ugly second. He kept going. Stone, Imani said on the net, soft and fierce. I am up, Stone answered. His voice was steady. Smoke curled from his shoulder straps. Coupler ahead. It sat under a clear panel. It was a thick ring of metal around a bright core. Vale's diagram floated beside it. Break here. Mara set a shaped charge with hands that did not shake. 3 count, she said. Brace. They pressed to the hull. The charge snapped like a giant tooth breaking. The coupler tore. The halo shivered. The beam in its mouth hiccuped and smeared sideways. Goliath? Mara asked. Charge interrupted, Goliath said. Bleed hold at 7. Your work counts. Next, Vale said. Left 15 meters. Watch the vent. They ran again. The vent exhaled liquid heat. It peeled paint from their boots. The second turret woke. Stone grabbed the turret barrel with both hands and forced it down. The barrel burned his gloves and stuck to his palms. He did not let go. Mara blew the second coupler. The halo jerked again, this time angry. Escorts turning to you. Reyes warned, I am throwing chaff. Bright insects of foil spread in the sky. Beam fire chased false glints. Reyes cut under the halo and flashed her landing lights at nothing, trying to be loud in the wrong place so the right place could be quiet. 5, Goliath said. Third coupler, 30 meters, Vale said. No time for pretty. They sprinted. The hull shook under their boots as the platform fought the gravity nail. The third coupler sat in a nest of cables. There was no clear panel, no easy bracket. Stone, Mara said. He planted his feet and tore. Cables snapped like tendons. A packet of hot coolant burst and washed his hands. The gel in his gloves hissed and turned white. He did not stop. He dug fingers under the ring and lifted with all the boring, simple strength the hard world had given him. Now, he said. Mara set the last charge and hit the switch. The blast shoved them to their knees. The coupler went sideways. The halo screamed. Its beam mouth collapsed into spark. Power arced across the face. The violet bruise faded to a muddier color. Beam offline, Goliath reported. You could hear men and women cheer behind the calm voice and then smother the sound to keep breathing steady. We still have the ring guns and the escorts. We can work. Mara stood. Stone did not. He was on one knee. His left glove had fused into a hard lump. Steam lifted from his chest. His breath came rough. He tried to rise and could not. Imani's voice was already moving. Talk to me. I am warm, Stone said. That is not helpful, Imani snapped, and then her tone softened. Stay where you are. Keep breathing. Pick up, Mara said.